It was time to get back on the road again to escape the rut and the sickness that comes with it. I've done a 2 week desert tour for Super in the spring. It's now middle of June, and I was back in the rut. It was a good time for the annual cross country trip. Well, almost the annual. New York has been the city of my therapy for the past 7 years. It's a pain in the butt to look for a temporary place every time I go there. It takes a lot of time and effort to find a suitable sublet. That's what I'm making in some years. So I've been meaning to get a permanent place in New York so I can go there anytime I want without having to secure a place first. And now it's about time that I did it. It's strange how nothing ever gets done unless you actually do it. I have arranged a temporary place in New York for 2 months already. A school teacher was leaving town for the summer, and I subletted a studio in Jackson Heights. So I had plenty of time to look for an apartment. But first, I had to get to Houston, where I leave my car, and then fly to New York. This was a 4 month trip, and here's the first leg of the trip to get to Houston. I had to be in Houston anyway, so I took the advantage and booked a cheap flight from Houston to New York. I only had 3 days to get to Houston, so I couldn't stop at too many places on the way. During the spring trip 2 months ago, I went to Lake Havasu, but I didn't get to stop at Sail Park. It happened to be on my route again, so I decided to stop there and hike to the lake from there. Then I went to San Antonio, that I haven't been yet, and to the city. That pretty much took up 3 days. I haven't decided where I was going to stop at on the way back. I'll have to figure that out on the fly on my way back from New York City. I started out late, and the sun was setting by the time I got to Conn River Canyon. Highway 178 found the Conn River. It's one of my favorite drives. We drove through it for the first time in 2017 on our first cross-country trip, and I fell in love with it. So I drive through it whenever I can in my cross-country trips. On my way back, I usually take Highway 395 in Eastern Sierra, another one of my favorite drives. I figured this beautiful hot spring is closed, but then, what the heck, I figured I'd check it out. So I parked outside the parking lot and walked to hot spring, beautiful hot spring, and lo and behold, it's nice and hot, spring functioning perfectly, and I have it all by myself. What do you think of that? Well, at least somebody can
We still
buy
have
and
close
check
the
it out.
height, so how exciting!
Yeah, very close to the parking lot. So I was gonna turn around and go to Remington,
Yeah,
but then I decided to check it out. It's working.
okay. I'm gonna come by tomorrow. Yay!
There was plenty of water in the river. I dipped in the hot springs and then slept in Con Canyon under the full moon. There is something about dipping in hot or cold water. Maybe it's the sensory stimulation. You become wide awake. Even snow monkeys in Japan like it. And here I was, wrong naked in water like a monkey. I alternated hot and cold water well into the night. There's just something about camping alone in the moonlight too. Your senses become heightened and you become one with your surroundings. It makes you feel alive and awake. It's the opposite of being in the rut. This is why I travel and live in my
Yeah, this
car
is the first
whenever I
time I've been
can.
to this part of 395. The south 395. This will take to San Bernardino. But I'm gonna be off to the left to get to Barstow on my way to Lake Havasu.
Next morning, I was
Back
on my way to Lake Havasu. It was late June, and the whole southwest
this is
was
the first
boiling.
month that I skipped the list.
It wasn't a good time to visit, especially for hiking. Long story short, I didn't make it to the water. Hiking in under 15-degree heat just wasn't a good idea.
Okay, here we are, Sarah Park. It's gonna be a 5.3 mile hike to the water. So it'll probably take about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. So I'll be back by 5 o'clock. Then I'll be off to Tucson.
The air was hot, and my water was got heated up very quickly. Normally, a breeze would be a good thing on a hot day, but it felt like a hot air from hair dryer than a breeze.
Okay, I made it to the lake, and the water is over a mile, and there's no way I can make it without jeopardizing my life. It's under 15 degrees here, and I just pour some water on my head. And what's left I have to drink on the way back. Okay, so see you in 30 minutes.
I only brought a liter of water, and I ran out of it halfway into the hike. I usually can go without water quite a while, but not in this weather. So I turned around. Isn't it strange how the world looks different when you travel in the opposite direction? I drove from south to north 2 months ago to get to Lake Havasu. This time I'm driving north to south from Lake Havasu, and I don't remember seeing any of this scenery. It may as well be a road that I haven't been on yet.
I'm gonna go all the way to Parker, and from there I'm gonna be off to Portside. And Tucson will be about 4 hours from there, and that's where I'm gonna bed down for the night.
I went on to Tucson. I was pretty sticky from hiking in hot weather, and I can't sleep when I'm sticky. I was pretty tired too, so I took my motel break early and checked into Quality Inn in Tucson. Normally, I would stay on the road for several days before taking a motel break, but I have no place to wash up when I'm moving from city to city. So I stopped at Buckeye Supercharger station, and it's still under 7 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and it's 7:39 p.m. Isn't it kind of romantic driving through the night under the full moon? Just brings back the memories of my teen years, driving back and forth on interstate highways through the night with six packs in the backseat. My wonder years were a bit different from Kevin Arnold's, I guess. Okay, we are descending down to Las Cruces. Those mountains behind Las Cruces, so Oregon Mountains. I wasn't there a couple of years ago on my way to West End National Park. Las Cruces, New Mexico, and then El Paso, Texas. 2 years ago, they were only names on the map. Now it's the fifth time I've been here. Yeah, I've been traveling a lot since 2021. Then I was in San Antonio in no time. I tell you, Tesla makes interstate travel a breeze. I just need to keep my eyes on the road, and it drives by itself most of the time. Can't imagine doing this kind of a driving trip without autopilot. Soon it may drive itself, and I won't need to keep my eyes open. That's the hope anyway. San Antonio is supposed to be one of the fastest growing cities in America, yet its downtowns were pretty much empty. There were many vacant stores and buildings, and you hardly see anybody till you get to Alamo Square that is infested with tourists like me. This is pretty much the state of cities in America since pandemic. Most of the downtowns were empty even before pandemic, and now it's even worse. You see something resembling life only in New York City, and that's why I'm heading there. Remember the Alamo, the famous bear cry. It's now etched in American history. I wonder how it's written in Mexico. Naked land grab by Yankees, perhaps? It was a situation not unlike Ukraine, where pro-Russian forces tried to secede and join Russia. Pro-American expats in Texas wanted to, and secede from Mexico. The history is written by the victors, they say. It would have been a failed insurrection, like the Confederate South, rather than a resistance for liberty if Mexico won. It was about a slavery too, after all. Yeah, okay. I was impressed with the river work. It was quite a bit cooler down there, with the trees providing shades. And there were lots of dining options by the water. I guess they wanted to make it look like Venice. You can ride a bus through the canal and under the bridge like you did in Venice. I didn't see gondolas though. You will have to go to Las Vegas for that, or the real Venice. I stopped at the Market Square on the way out of San Antonio. They were getting ready to put on a show. It would have been fun to watch the dance. I waited for a while, but they were taking their sweet time, and I was running out of time to get to Fort Stockton, my next destination, where I was going to sleep in my car while refueling. Well, that was pretty much the end of my video or the first leg of the trip. I lost my fridge at Fort Stockton, and I didn't share any videos in Houston. I made a trip to Galveston and Matagorda from Houston, but the footage for that were lost too. Oh well. A week went by and it was time for me to fly to New York. A direct flight cost me only $60. I guess it's a high volume route between two major airports, so they could keep the price down. So I flew to New York City on July 1st and settled in the Jackson Heights Historic
35th
District.
Avenue. It's a very nice residential strip along with the 34th compared to 37 or the Roosevelt. And here's the apartment that I'm staying on. The top floor on the corner right.
I was pretty impressed with this part of Jackson Heights. The six-story brick buildings lining the streets were gorgeous, and the park like 34th and 35th Avenue are some of the nicest streets in the entire New York City. It takes about 15 minutes of walk from the subway station, a little further than ideal. But the peace and quiet away from the bustle of Roosevelt Avenue was well worth it. The prices were quite reasonable too for New York City. So I spent 2 months here looking for an apartment and walking the streets all over New York City. Then I moved into this huge apartment in Flushing on September 1st. Flushing is actually a good place if you're an Asian. It has the largest Chinatown in the country and still has the vestige of Koreatown right next to it. There are four H marts within the walking distance, believe it or not. If groceries in Chinatown don't suffice your needs. The only problem is that it takes a while to get to Manhattan on slow 7 train. But it should get mitigated when the 7 Express gets restored. Eventually, I hope. Did I mention that this apartment was huge? It's just 1,000 square feet with all its windows facing south. It's a bright mansion compared to the dingy tiny studio in Jackson Heights
It was
that I
kind of
lived in
scary
for 2 months.
because it's a 6 floors up. And I was afraid that I was going to drop the AC on somebody's head.
Yeah, I installed an AC myself. I spent all of September furnishing the apartment. I'll have a separate video for the whole process with all the things I bought and assembled. I haven't added it up yet, but it cost me close to $10,000. That wasn't the top of the apartment. That cost me 6,000 to move in. Yeah, it's expensive to live in New York, even in Flushing. For now, here's some video of me living in transition and assembling furniture.
Howdy, my name is Olivia, and welcome to my baby.
All done. It was time to hand the key over to my ex, who will be the permanent resident of the apartment, and embark my journey back to the West. I'll be visiting a few times a year, a month at a time, and I'll be back in a few months for my first time in New York City in the winter. For now, I'm taking the Spirit Airline flight back to Houston, where I'll pick up my car and continue my journey west.
Okay.